What is it with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable.
Please maintain your professionalism, detective.
I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir.
But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir.
True. So then what now?
Looks like my life's falling into yet another gigantic ditch.
You're not spared, Bird. There are many other places and things we should be able to... What the hell? There should be... Oh my god. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway.
Hey, really, sir?
For example, this hallway. The linchpin of this argument against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, the hallway is the perfect place to look for more information regarding the mystery surrounding my door. Okay, look, basketball. What is a basketball doing here?
That's Mr. Waltman's prime possession, sir. I heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis.
Not a single use of one of those sports is suitable to be played in a hallway. Oh, there's a little tick to show that I've investigated it. That's pretty helpful. Who are you? What are you doing here?
It looks like you're in quite a bit of a pinch, Mr. Edgeworth.
To be sure, murder within the walls of the Prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. We must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly, post-haste.
Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open.
Gracious, I will keep your offer in mind. Who is this guy again? What's a basketball hoop doing here?
Hey, didn't this used to be just outside next to the building a long time ago?
So when and why was it moved indoors?
I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently.
Drag it?
I heard that it wouldn't be in the...
Oh my god.
I heard that it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it in himself.
All the way up to the 12th floor? This office.
1203, 1203. Hey, Maggie, whose room is this again?
It's Mr. Portman, sir.
So he's my new neighbour, I see. I see he's... I would rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. That line is going to stuff me up a lot. It's...
Ah, isn't that a missing O series file, sir?
No doubt about it. The bloody letters mark it clear as day. There seems to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind.
So what about these O files?
What the?
What are these O files about, sir? I guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh?
Not particularly, it's just a collection of court case files. However, cases within these files are not mine.
Huh?
They belong to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were.
And that means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right?
It would seem so. 3 of the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing.
I wonder why anybody would care such about an old case.
Well-crafted, high-quality sofa for visitors. The stitching is excellent.
Talk about a luxury waiting area. These babies are also great for napping, you know.
We sleep even out here, detective, in a hallway.
And if I do, I always wind up dreaming about giving testimony up on the stand. But it always ends the same way, me getting trounced by a lawyer. Isn't it awful?
Maybe I should give it a try sometime, to envision myself winning, naturally. I guess there's more here. Oh. I was wondering if I may speak with you for a bit concerning this case.
I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream. A dream where I'm being cross-examined by D. Miles Edgeworth.
I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing her my notes to her with triangle. when did you discover that the master key was missing?
By the time I realised it, I think it was around 1 AM, sir. And I noticed it was back around 2:30 AM. It was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. But I'm sure that between those two times it was not just gone but stolen, sir.
Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place?
It's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room away from the window.
Always, you say, except for this time, correct?
Well, I admit that I was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I had used it that I left it sitting out on the ledge.
She used the master key? What do you mean by used the master key?
Oh, I had to use it to open a door for the prosecutor who'd forgotten his key. I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right? Oh,
What is it?
that's right, I just remembered the prosecutor who forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir.
What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird, quickly.
It was around 12 AM. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office key, so he came down to the security, sir.
And that's when you loaned the master key to me.
No way! It's against regulations to loan a master key out to anyone. I just walked Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir.
I see.
And then, what happened after that?
Well, he called for me to come close up to his office as he was leaving to go home.
Close up.
That was around 1:30 AM, I think.
So in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight.
Talk about suspicious.
I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at home, Detective. I think this calls for a thorough examination of Mr. Portsman's door. Have you ever met the victim before?
Well, I've seen him a couple of times before when I had to go to Mr. Portsman's office. Mr. Faithful's always been basketball with Mr. Portsman, sir.
That sounds like fun. Just once, I'd love to play with them.
It sounds fun, but the only person ever taken a shot was Mr. Portsman. All Mr. Faith ever did was pass him the ball, sir.
On second thought, I don't think I'd fit in all that well with them.
Maggie Bird, correct? I take it you're an acquaintance of the detective.
She was under master supervision back when she was still on the force, sir. One day she got caught up in the murder and things started going downhill, so she quit.
But I owe a lot to Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. Or so I thought until a few hours ago. Right before I was about to clock out for the night.
You got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct?
Don't worry, my whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Since I was 6 months old, when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building, I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gone and sick from all sorts of food, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and now I even managed to be named criminal just when I've become a security guard.
That's a lot to go through in one life.
I know, and just when I thought I had finally found my happiness, I wind up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck.
You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bird, nor do you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove your innocence. All I ask in return is for your cooperation.
Yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth, you can count on me. I'll do all I can to help.
I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Door is locked. Right.
I bet the old credit card trick wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth?
This is the office of High Prosecutor, Detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if
Great cat burglar could get in. That must be who the culprit is.
Might I advise you to return to that conclusion whenever whatever pawn shop you bought it from? 1203. I take it that this is Mr. Portsman's office.
Yeah, you can't mistake it because of that basketball hoop, sir. Oh, that reminds me, Mr. Portsman had actually wanted room 1202 really badly. But since you were already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put him next door, sir.
So why was Mr. Portsmouth so particular about getting room 1202?
I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like his birthday's December 2nd.
Yep, that's gotta be it. I can't think of another reason why.
I think of at least 3. Rough. I might wasting time thinking about this.
It's Mr. Portsmouth's personal bus boot.
I can't believe he put something like this in the hallway of a prosecutor's office.
But you know, it's actually pretty useful, sir. I haven't gotten lost trying to get to your office since it's been here.
How long have I had the same office, and yet you've still managed to get lost? Minimalist, yet classy door made of top quality wood.
It's kind of majestic too. Fits really well with the ambience of the prosecutor's office. Even Mr. Portsmouth seems dignified just because he works behind one of these.
Nonsense. A man doesn't become more or less dignified because of where he works.
Well, he still seems more dignified than Mr. Payne.
Mr. Payne? I suppose custodial work can also be dignified. Is that it? I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious document and cranny. 1202. These 4 numbers on a number plate alone proclaim this to be my office.
Whoops! Hey, these number plates slide right out, sir.
They have to be able to take off the plate. They have to be able to take off the plate when a room becomes vacant, you know. Although the idea that it can be so easily removed is kind of what? I don't see any sign of forced entry.
According to the guard, no signs that this lock was picked either, sir.
Meaning that the door really was open with the key. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob?
Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Why, they think?
Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story.
What? No way, pal. I mean, sir?
You said that you locked up Mr. Portsmouth's office at around 1:30 AM, correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at that time.
Wow, nothing is by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw that contradiction like a pro. I'd totally forgotten all about that, but thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right. It was around that very time that I realized the master key was missing.
And?
Well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir.
You pretended?
Yeah, I used my house keys. I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir.
So in actuality, you never did relock the door then?
Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly.
Is everything alright?
Yes, sir. If you must know, I weighed myself this morning and I'm finally at £154.
Congratulations. I was asking about this hallway in this room.
Oh, everything's okay, sir.
The word of advice, stay focused or you may start to lose even more weight. What have I missed? Why isn't the little tick on this part? There's literally nothing here. Stop trying to trick me. Okay, there's something here that I haven't seen. Oh, it's locked. There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird has said is true, then why is this door locked tight?
Huh? You know, you're right.
Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't relock this door?
I'm certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsmouth noticed it himself that I hadn't.
Which means what, sir?
It either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one.
You opened a different door, but how can you prove that?
There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is... we need to examine these. The prints on the doorknob will tell us everything.
Hey, you, pal, do us a favour and see what you can do from this, okay? So, what you find out?
There's no need for such belligerent nostril flaring, Detective.
So, I found only Mr. Portsmouth and Miss Face prints on this doorknob.
So, only 2 people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive.
Look, sir.
But another person's print should be on this knob as well. Now then, whose print should also be on the doorknob?
Take that!
Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked the door are absent?
You mean?
Yes, the door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. What have we here? I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Paper. What is this?
It looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. Let's see. Oh, there's something written on it.
It looks like a note from the victim.
Yeah, it's from Mr. Portsmouth.
I didn't actually read it. I brought the 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone, but it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later. What's this?
What are you looking at, sir? Oh, hey, how about a game?
That's okay, Detective. I just found the position of this hoop to be a little off.
Hey, you're right, sir. I guess it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk.
Positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. Better take note of this. Looking around in this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely.
Huh? How so, sir?
In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case.
You know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth.
As long as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsmouth.
What? Mr. Portsmouth?
I knew it. That's exactly what my logic senses are telling me too. I suspected it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being a killer, sir.
This is anything but logical. Lady and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. On what may, it's time to knock on Truth's door.
Mr. Portsmouth, sir. Finish processing bloody letters, sir.
All right, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there, take a good look at this.
Good care of this.
Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. In the line for you, Portsmouth. We got you now.
Cool off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jack Portman, that you are the guilty party in this case.
You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too.
So I guess you can stay if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job? I can see right through the unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl.
Who'd ever thought it'd come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Kammer, right? The legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. But there was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaches me that I gotta stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know.
Are you done trying to play mind games with me? Because they won't work.
The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for is now is explaining yourself. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves, even though you've yet to prove anything? I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Sorry, but we are not finished yet. Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something. I'll show you what I'm basing my accusations on, with evidence. This one's pretty easy to find out. Oops, why isn't it working? It would behoove you to take a good look at this. I see it, but I fail to see how it has anything to do with me. Is that so? You're not at the top of your game today, are you, Mr. Genius Prosecutor? You can't allow him to set the pace here. You must remain calm. Only by doing so can I find the fatal flaw in his reasoning. I don't understand how that was wrong. Wow. Present the key then. I believe you were able to open my office door with the master key, no less. Wait. Hold on for a sec. Wait. Hold on for a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely, you were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. Why is the text so slow? I need to sort that out. Why is the text so slow? Is there a way to... What? No, it's a story mode. Can I not change it? I'll text skip. There we go. That's right. Use your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key.
Take that!
You had asked Miss Bird to open your office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know? The room you had Miss Bird open at that time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. Why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she will open, shall we?
I'm certain that it was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir.
See, Miss Bird backs up my story. Yet, what if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what she wanted? And how do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on the doors, for example.
That's right, they do slide out pretty easily.
Furthermore, you then used one other thing to give a very strong impression. That the door she was opening was yours and not in fact mine. What was it that Mr. Portsman used to make Miss Bird think that it was his room?
Take that!
What? The basketball hoop, sir?
It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a whole hallway in this building. Which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a peculiar prosecutor.
It's very true, sir. Because there was a basketball hoop sitting there, I thought the door I was opening had to be Mr. Portsman's.
There are signs that the hoop has been moved. Sit it in front of my office, to be sure. I see, so that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. but I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in the room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. So, he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. My jacket's not dirty, I'll have you know. I just washed it yesterday. Please calm down, for I intend to show who is the one truly covered in slime here. Damn, Edgeworth. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had to go open my office door, I thought I was in my room. You have no reason to suspect me. Is that it? I need more info.
Hold it!
Using the master key, of course. Sure, you have a problem with that? That is what the master key's for, right? Perhaps we should place it in an elaborate labyrinth of some sort for people like you. After that, I was in my room the entire time.
Hold it!
What were you doing in your office? I was doing my usual training regimen. Training regimen? Were you going through your law books from start to finish? Mainly batting practice and some weights. Oh, and a jog when I get a chance. Wow, you must be the buffest prosecutor we have. With the weakest legal muscles I've ever seen. I was doing my usual workout, so...
Hold it!
And I think I've given you quite a few reasons.
Objection!
But none of them would stand up on their own.
Objection!
Then what about all the evidence? It's all circumstantial. No judge would convict on such flimsy evidence. He seems to be trembling a little. One more little push. All I have to do is find the flaw in his testimony. This flaw. Oh yeah.
Objection!
That was a lie. What are you talking about? How is that a lie? This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. No. It was left under your door, or did you not notice? And right here it says, but you're out. You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you and what were you doing? Nyah! Shall I explain it in full detail for you? You were busy snooping around my room, the very room you had Miss Bird open for you. That's just nonsense. You have no evidence that I made that girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence. No way! This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door for you.
Take that!
I had your door dusted for prints. My door? Ha! What for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time. You're right, I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Prints? What are they? Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened the door, then her print should naturally be on a doorknob she touched. No! Further, all of the prints on my office doorknob have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? You know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me. And Detective Faye found you out. Possibly because you heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on a leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faye to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. And as I said when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. Just what's so funny, pal? Well, that look of stiff seriousness on the face of this office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me, is simply too much to bear. There's nothing else like it in the world. What?
Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all. He even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit to the crime already.
And as I said earlier, it's also circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? Well, I can readily confess that I wiped that knob down well.
Eh?
I'm a little obsessive-compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch a doorknob that you had just touched, which is why I wiped down the doorknob as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim and my prints would be on there. You made that up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, as for the note Jim left for me, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, he could have left it there before I arrived at my office. Like early evening, for example. Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway? Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, although that's no excuse.
No, that's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size.
Ah, but you can't prove that, can you?
Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here.
Horseman makes a good point. Can't prove that you simply didn't overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only just realized I had one as we were talking. I guess it would have been better for us all if I just told you sooner.
Because you're lying. You lying bit.
If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 a.m., correct? It was then that you had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around, I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe! Oh, Detective Gumshoe? Sir, yes, sir. I'll go check out his alibi, sir. Be right back. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, I think you're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portman said. Guys down in criminal affairs said they saw him around 2 a.m. You see? All of the evidence points to him being the culprit. Then there must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere.
Hold it!
So, you paid the Criminal Affairs Department a visit.
Yep, right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight for the precinct.
Hold it!
Well, we did go and ask around of your testimony.
And it was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. The number of detectives said that they saw you at around that time. See, I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Ugh. Fortune's alibi may seem perfect at first glance, but I know there's a hole in it somewhere. All I need to do is press it a little and see what comes out of it.
Hold it!
You are correct. This was sure. It's really important to me that you're spot on with the time. I remember checking my watch then, and make no mistake, it was 2. Oh, giving testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came back to your office at 2.
Hold it!
It is as you say, however. Yes, however, you are the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. But tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was Pitt. Oh, come now. I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? I'm beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. Impossible. He actually does have the perfect alibi. What's wrong? Why the sudden look on your face? I'll just say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth. I think we've reached the end of the line and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there! Sir! Please escort the young lady out, but remember, be gentle. Maggie! Detective Gumshoe!
Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn this situation around. If I only had a clue, did I miss something that can help me cast doubt on his alibi? I need to calmly think this through one more time and with logic. There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life, and one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only showed signs of being fired once, meaning that this is entirely possible, as a second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person, which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, that would also resolve the issue of why my shells were appended twice. We know that the shells were disturbed once before and once after the murder, so it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of 2 different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it, and once again after the murder by our second culprit. Who was the owner of the second gun? If we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back.
Objection!
Mr. Portsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great, so you finally come to your senses.
Miss Edgeworth.
Sir, what are you saying? It's been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality 2 culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean 2? It explains both why my shells were disturbed twice and how there were 2 guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know. If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you're really innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me. Which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shells. This is the first time. So then, this would be when the files were put back in wrong order, right? Correct. And then, just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? What did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir? Why? He probably had business from Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office, would be my guess.
Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right?
And he must have thought it was odd, so he came to this office to check it out. Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do.
But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there.
Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him and then killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he'd also left the fake dying message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There was another visitor? Yes, and this other person's objective was to steal something. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. Stolen 0 file, right, sir? Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave my file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. The shells get messed up twice and the 2 bullets. It was all because 2 different people were doing those things at 2 different times. Precisely. So now do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief and was not, in fact, Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit.
What's so funny, pal?
Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything.
Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth, after all.
But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there is still one defining point of your argument, for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor.
Mr. Edgeworth, why can't you can't let him get away with that, sir?
But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point.
Don't say that, sir.
I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must.
You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Miss Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just a plain old thief, why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. That thief you ran into should be a real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was in the training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. So you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course. Now isn't the time for having these dead-end discussions. I don't think it's at all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. What evidence have I not looked at? Why didn't you go back there with Mr. Faith? Ah, that's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know, those sofas in the hallway, he likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. And what of the evidence he brought? They were things related to yesterday's case, just 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is you fail. Excuse me? Fearless prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read carefully.
Ah, it says that Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces.
Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman.
I can't believe to get tripped up by simple arithmetic.
Where is the missing piece of evidence? You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe,
you don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. Look, don't come any closer, I'm warning you. This is all part of the investigation, pals. Don't even think about stopping me.
No!
Hey, what's this? He had this on him, sir.
Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide.
Why would he hide something like that?
There's only one reason why anybody would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to the person himself as the real killer. Let's examine the videotape in a little more detail. But a section of the tape that would drive the last nail into his coffin.
It's that blood, isn't it?
Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh.
You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood? No, you got it all wrong.
No amount of now can save you. We have to run but a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video.
Yes, totally suspicious.
Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his personage when you killed him?
You know very well there's no way to prove that.
Not even if we were to examine his tape for fingerprints?
Ugh.
If I had to take a guess,
I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith. No, impossible! I
don't even know what to do for that breakdown.
Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir.
Very good.
And the results we got back from the lab text on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. Blood work came back and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they also said there were left a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I get to see your cold deduction skills outside of the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir.
It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in the murder in my office. Please accept my apologies.
Oh, it was nothing, really, compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. If it had been a hold-up or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person.
Something tells me that we should have hired a different person for security detail.
You know something, sir? That Mr. Portsman really was one corrupt prosecutor.
Why would you say he was corrupt?
Well, I heard there was a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumours about how some of the evidence he uses is forged, sir.
Forged evidence, huh?
And they even said he decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons.
Oh, that guy was just a complete disgrace to the entire profession.
We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office.
Yeah, whenever we got to that topic, he just clammed up.
Although we can be pretty certain that it was to steal something.
It's just between you and me, sir, but there's rumour that some sort of huge organisation is involved behind the scenes.
Oh, well. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumour. It would seem we haven't heard the last of this.
Huh? Then Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy?
I didn't say that, but rather that there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance of this piece of evidence. Oh, this.
Take that!
The person who stole this file, the other villain of the night.
Yeah, I wonder where he was.
What happened to the stolen pages? I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint?
Mr. Edgeworth, sir.
Yes?
I came across this wild process in your office earlier, sir.
This card?
What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there?
It's not just any bird. It is the mark of the raven, a three-legged raven. Even you should know about what this is, Detective.
Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief everyone's talking about.
Yes, this is the mark of the great thief Yatagaratsu. Under the mask of a legionary bird, the Yatagaratsu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labelled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagaratsu appears and vanishes at will. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagaratsu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The theft is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even a target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. Although it has been a while since Yatakarasu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something written's on the back. What? Let me see. It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files. So, the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatakarasu. Organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. Murder in my office. The return of the great thief, Yatakarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming, for they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago.
That's the end of the first case. I hope you guys enjoyed this case and this episode.
And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.